Hello. Welcome to Fully Charged, episode 14. This is the episode in which we will just wing it entirely for the whole show. I talked to Commander X earlier in the week, and we were like, yeah, Thursday would be a good idea, but I forgot to actually publicize it anywhere, including on the staff pages. So this is all happening just sort of very randomly. We got Mirelin in as well because we thought War wasn't coming in. War showed up, so now we just got like a embarrassment of riches here. Mirelin, the legend. But I'll just introduce everybody real quick before we get down to business. I'm of course Admirable. We got Commander X over there. I'm actually on the camera as well now. We're back using Skype, so I've got a robot voice and on cam. We've got WARHURYEAH here, kaidus as well, and as I said, Mirelin and John on the camera. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but War is the man with the plan. So War, take us away.
I don't really have the voice for this. But yeah, so if you want to go through some gossip, actually no wait, gossip happened last time and that didn't really work, so I think we're just going to jump straight into the results. I think the first result that's sort of notable, like to talk about, is Fenix versus Lazy Pandas. Hopefully we didn't speak about this before, but yeah, Fenix drew, lost a map again.
Oh yeah, that was that like
Admirable died midway through the sentence. No, I guess we'll never know. Tune in next time Admirable's internet works for the end of that sentence.
I'm going to ask him on Steam, hold on.
You work that, I will continue talking about Fenix against Lazy Pandas. So yeah, Fenix took Snakewater 4-3, lost Granary 4-1, which means Lazy Pandas basically secured themselves not worst team in Prem with that big result. As I believe Admirable has returned, maybe, just maybe.
It's gone offline.
Any comments really? Hello? I mean, I guess disappointment with Fenix. Fenix are meant to be better than that.
I was quite sort of looking forward to the lineup because it seemed pretty strong, and now I don't know really. I don't know really what's went wrong because they changed Klar for Salmon. Maybe that was sort of what caused a bit of an upset because it's sort of like a roster change quite deep into the season. But yeah, it was just kind of, I feel kind of sad because they're going to perform quite well. I thought they were definite playoff contenders, but they haven't got it. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to continue, to be honest. It'll be...
Well, they're in playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Rocket aren't competing.
Oh, okay.
Rocket are foregoing their spots. They don't want to game with each other anymore. So Fenix have the 4th place spot.
Oh, well, in that case, never mind. I guess then if Fenix actually... I guess that game did have some significance because if Fenix lost both maps, I think 425 would have gone through.
Hello?
Hello, Admirable.
Do you want to finish the sentence?
Rockets didn't fold because we don't want to play with each other. It's because we wanted to give a team that's actually going to stay together a chance, right? That's what we're saying, isn't it, Sam? I fucking hate you.
Is it when you don't want to play against, play with each other? Is it just Sam doesn't want to do anymore?
Sam's too good. He's better than everyone else. He's sick of playing with us. He's going to kill the team. But no, it's done. QNX was the only guy that was really genuinely interested in playing. But we had to break his heart, his youth. You know, he was just so keen to get in there and play in the playoffs. But nah, we're giving up. It's a done deal with the admins, and it's going to happen.
So, what do we really think of Fenix going forward? Because this result isn't really promising.
I don't know. As I said, I think maybe the inclusion of Salmon and the loss of Klar have sort of caused them to be a bit rocky. But on paper, they have a very, very good lineup, especially with 18, who just carries them. Ribbon Demo and Waters as well. Yeah, I don't really know what's going wrong, but expected more of them and they haven't delivered. So see what it's like when playoffs come around.
Maybe it was just
anyone see that game?
I didn't see the game, but I don't know. Maybe it was just because their first game with Salmon, like first official. Maybe it's just the early stages because I saw Fenix warm up or Somniacs tonight, and Salmon played
their first official
really well.
Yeah, they played against Rocket with Salmon as well.
He played against DG Well Played as well. That was his debut.
And he
took
played
the 3
against
points.
Epsilon.
I tell a massive lie then. I don't know then, because Salmon. When I watched Salmon play tonight, again, like it was just a PCW, but he seemed to play pretty wicked. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good gamer anyway.
Things up. Like I don't know. Like they took Salmon because he's easier to play with, but I reckon Clar did more damage, but I can't say exactly why they lost, but I don't know.
Throw it out there and say they cut the wrong soldier because
I think
their roamer is just not up to the same standard as the rest of the team. And when he's on a flank with Walters, like Walters isn't as good as he used to be, but he's still good. But he is kind of like one-dimensional. And when you have like a really one-dimensional roamer with him, like he's not got very strong DM, it makes the flank really, really weak in comparison to the rest of their team.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. I don't know, I felt Kalari's had to step up a little bit. Wasn't as bad as in previous seasons, but now he's just sort of fallen back. And yeah, I don't really think he's doing that well anymore. But yeah, I think Carr used to play Roma, and I think he's more comfortable on that because he just bombs anyway when he plays pocket, and he doesn't really pocket anyway, so it might have been a good inclusion. But I think, to be honest, having played with Clar in that team, he does sort of tone down the mood by quite a substantial amount. Not exactly the most enjoyable person to play with when he's having one of his moods.
Right.
I mean, I played with both him and Bite team. Admirable.
They were the best VODs of all time.
Whoa. Yeah. I just brought up the logs from their game. I just looked at the match page, and on this Snakewater map, Walters did... This can't be right. Walters did 1,600 damage in 30 minutes. I don't know if that makes sense.
Wait, what?
But
he only played the last few minutes, then played the first.
But on the clock it says he played 5 minutes of Scout, or on the log, sorry, and 24 minutes of
They got Zen in instead.
Something weird there, yeah.
They had Zen and played the first 20 minutes.
The logs never actually say, like, if you didn't play the whole game, the logs never tell you how long you actually played. It's a completely redundant feature. They just say you were there the whole time.
But you can tell because Zen was in for 18 minutes.
Like, how many deaths did he have? That will probably give you a bigger picture.
He went 7 for 2.
Yeah, that was
like 2 deaths.
4.5 kill death ratio. Man, if he was still in that game, they would have they won anyway. So
they would have won just like they won anyway.
Yeah, they would have just carried on winning. Yeah, maybe it's kind of redundant. And he didn't play this second one either. Zen played instead, who hit a whopping 156 damage per minute. 4,000.
Looking at the
in total.
Kills and assists per death. Salmon and Kalari are down bottom on both maps. It looks like their soldiers were really struggling in both maps. I didn't see the game, I'm just clutching at straws here.
TF2 in like quite a while. He's been away from it for it might take him. He'll be inconsistent in terms of the performance because sometimes you'll have really good games, but it'll just be worse and maybe go into it that day. But it depends. If they practice hard for playoffs, they could be better, but I don't think they're going to cause any sort of upset.
I think Salmon has this like overcompensating pocket syndrome where you don't feel like flank is doing enough, so you jump to help them, and then you just end up looking like shit because you're trying to play 2 soldier roles at once and you're not actually doing one properly in the end.
What's the next game on the list then? What other
obviously
results came in?
Insomniac versus Epsilon. That game.
That was pretty epic. I feel like having watched it or casted it, god damn it, it was really Epsilon's game, and they threw in that last push on Granary. Like, sure, they could have taken it and got that 1 point for the golden cap at least and tied things up and finished first, but they just took a head stagger there. So unlike Nox to just like make that rash play and go in. And Mirelin on afterwards in the interview trolling him, saying that he'd really gained some respect for him. What's that all about, Mirelin?
What?
You came on the interview after the game and you were like, oh, I've got some respect for Nox now because he pushed, even though that was the push that lost him the map. Were you winding him up, man? You trying to get him mad?
Yeah, that was like basically. You wanted me to talk about this?
That would be the idea.
You did want to be on this talk show, so normally you talk on it.
Well, yeah, basically, 1 minute and a half left. Guess what? We got Ubercharge and they got Ubercharge. We stay on the middle, and we are like, no, I was like, oh my god, we are so doomed. They never gonna push. They just gonna sit on the yard and draw against us to get the points and get the first place eventually. Then they just push to the right side. And I was like, oh my god, really? So cool. Yeah, never expected something like this. And in the end, we won, and yeah. First place? What do you think?
And yeah, like I'm glad it ended up that way. I want to see a Somniac finish first, just for a change that someone else wins the main season. You guys took 6 points today, right? So you
Yes.
have actually first.
Oh my
Whoa,
fucking
who the
God.
fuck was that? Was that me? That devil microphone?
It wasn't.
Okay, but yeah, I suppose I'm jumping ahead here, but yeah, after that game, since you guys had a 1 point lead before it and you took 3 points from the fixture, it was still on for a Somniac to finish first, and they have done that today. CommanderX, talk about both games here. We're just gonna mix it up.
Okay, so yeah, I obviously watched Epsilon versus Osomniac tonight. No, wrong one. Osomniac versus GG Well Played. So yeah, both maps started off pretty kind of like rocky. Like GG Well Played took the first round in both maps, gave them a bit of a challenge. The next rounds were kind of scrappy, but in both maps, eventually Osomniac just pulled it together and were dominant for the rest of it. Pretty, I don't know, like it started off shaky, but it was convincing in the end. Osomniac never really looked in too much danger of losing too many rounds or fights, really.
How serious were you taking the game today, Kaidus? How much did it mean to you to finish first?
Oh mate, we were top keen. Like things got a bit edgy. Like we had some like issues today. Like Zeb always just went down for crashing 10 times a night anyway. And then for some reason my internet decided it wanted to time me out every 5 minutes, and the PCW before it was a bit of a disaster because for like half the game viewers ever were like rejoining the server. But then in the match we were lucky, I guess. We didn't crash that much.
Guys,
So we
guys,
just kind of on track and did it.
Do
But
you
yeah, we
wanna-
were like super keen.
do you want to know why we won?
Why did you win, Mirelin?
Look at my webcam. Because Kaidus was like this. Oh, come on, Scott! What the fuck? Get in the way! Start pushing! Come on, come on, come on!
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how we won.
Got my big boy pants.
It's all thanks to Kaidus. He's a good boy.
Who was carrying? Anyone in particular stand out, CommanderX? You saw it?
I don't know, on Snakewater, Hudson kind of gave him loads of problems on the mid. You know, whether he was doing it directly, like Hiss was basically a non-factor in most of Snakewater, because either Knutson took him out of game straight away, or Knutson would just jump kitchen, and Hiss would just fucking sticky himself in, waiting for Knutson to kill him, and Knutson probably normally gets him anyway. So he did a lot of work, and then Zebasai is always just pumping out the damage. Really good Ubers, catching Whiteclaw a few times when he was pretty close to Uber, just dropping him. Kaidus had a few nice moments. He got like a free man on mid from hiding in kitchen the whole fight, basically. Yeah, no one really stood out, just kind of strong performances all around, really.
I think we should talk about the. I know we're jumping between the games here, but like the Epsilon Osomniac game, like what does that mean for the playoffs? Like, are Epsilon the best team? I know Osomniac came out with 3 points in the end, but it was almost just. I feel like Epsilon looks stronger, much stronger on Snake War. Obviously, the scoreline tells it, but they sort of carried it through a little bit into Granary, and they could have taken another point and brought it to a golden cap that way if they wanted. Were you surprised at Somniac by how well Epsilon played, considering the roster change-ups they had, or had you played a lot against them in practice?
No, like that was the first time we ever played them, to be honest. We like played one PCW against that roster, but I had 400 ping the entire time, so I just kind of effectively, like pragmatically, it never happened as far as I'm concerned, because neither team really learned anything or gained anything from it. So it was the first time we played them, and I don't know. Like if there were two maps I could pick to not play against Epsilon, it would be Gran and Snake. and like we're pretty keen. So I think the more we play them, the better we'll get against them, because like I'm a no life hero, and other people are really keen to like win. Like Zebo's never won a season before, so he wants that to happen finally after like 5 years of trying. So I don't know. I think they're probably slightly ahead of us, if I'm honest. But like we'll only see on the day. Like we get the map picks and things like this now, so we have enough time to close whatever gap there may be.
Would you rather have taken the path of maybe finishing second and getting that extra game on the road to face Epsilon? Like, is it a double-edged sword that if you finish first, you only get one game, but you only get one game, you don't get a chance to warm up in the previous round?
Like maybe, but we just played a whole season, so you know, we've kind of played enough matches.
It's so weird though. It's like way the playoffs work. It's like at the time whenever teams are made to be the most competitive, it's so hard to find people to play against because the other 4 teams aren't playing anymore. They've folded or they've just like given up. It's like the playoffs take so long, it drags out. I don't know. Remember it was talked about last season, like about shortening it. I don't know the actual schedule. I don't see anything up from ETFTL yet.
Yeah, I think they should have a rethink, because like this playoff system was like a compromise, because when Prem players first asked for proper playoffs, they were really hesitant because there was like the other half that thought the season should still mean a lot. So like they kind of did this compromise playoffs where, you know, getting first seed actually means something because you don't have to play these other games. But now I think like enough time has passed and we could just do like proper playoffs now. I don't think anyone would care anymore about the season meaning something because it was like a different generation.
Sorry, there's fucking mayhem going down in Twitch chat. Luckily, this won't make the VOD, but this is being very, very lurid and he's bringing me to tears. But Mirelin can't even stop laughing himself. War, give us the Epsilon perspective on the game and how you guys feel going into the playoffs.
I think we feel better going to the playoffs because I think we needed to be beat to sort of try. Because I think some people were happy with not practicing that much. Other people wanted to practice more. I personally wanted to practice more because, I know. Personally, I think
your days are numbered.
The official, because my days are numbered. At least I'll be able to make the I-52 final though, unlike Epsilon. And of course, when Americans crush us again, might be able to cast it, be there repping. But I know, I think they sort of needed it. And we sort of fry, and I think we are now. We're starting to actually. I mean, we've actually got our PCWs booked a week in advance. That's never happened. Most of the time, we just look on that day, and then we only get one game. And I think leading up to the official, we played the Americans like one game against 425. We played 2 games on Wednesday against GG. Well played. Yeah, I wasn't feeling confident going into the official. Quite surprised that we would do that well on Snakewater, but I think it's before DM heavy, whereas Granary is sort of more based on teamwork. So a team with better coordination, especially on middles, can sort of crush the other guys, and that sort of I think our middles were pretty weak. Personally, I wasn't really happy with my performance. I played pretty shit. I think it's just because of I think I started to do a bit of a ruin, sort of concentrating on streaming too much instead of actually paying attention into like watch the VOD back of the and I was just so bad. It was disappointing. So I sort of actually tried.
Tell me this then, how do you feel about your position in the team now? Like that was one of the crucial fixtures of the season. Do you think you've done enough to stake a claim to be the Epsilon demo man at I-52? Is that something you're even interested in?
If they need a demo man, then yeah. Like, because at the moment I'm playing better now in the past week because I've stopped streaming and I've stopped blogging and I've actually sort of concentrated on trying to play with the team. Whereas I think before that we hadn't missed any games and I sort of took it for granted, like this is just a free ride, and then when you get beaten, I don't know. I didn't think I felt I just got out fucking played for the whole 30 minutes of Granary. I know we won the first map. But, I don't know. maybe being overly critical, but I was absolutely shocking. Our Uber pushes to last with me were absolutely dreadful. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a point we had Uber advantage, and I just started trying to go for Mirelin instead of actually going for the other players that are going to do something. We just fucked it. Yeah, I don't think I was really playing with them. I think over the past week I've sort of become better, sort of trying to play with the team a little bit more. So it depends. It depends on the playoffs and if I play well. If I do, and they were given a choice between Numlocked and me anyway, you'll probably still take Numlocked. But I don't know.
Where does your heart lie, man? If you had the choice of casting the grand final or playing in it, what would you do?
I want to play. I love playing TF2. Like, I've put too much time and effort into it. I really want to play TF2, and yeah. So if I got the chance, then yeah, I'd just keen it up a lot. But if I don't play, I don't mind. I'll just cast instead. I like casting with CommanderX. I enjoy it, and yeah, it gives me more things. Is that before I started like trying to stop streaming and stuff, I was just most of my time was spent like fucking writing shit for my blog, and if I play for them, I can finish off my. I'm doing like a Mega Man Bible post. It'd be absolutely massive. Yeah, because it's going to be my last season, last LAN. I'll probably still play Comp TF2, but not Prem, unless Prem gets shockingly bad. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to play, but it's not my decision. I think Raymond sort of told me once that in Epsilon, all it takes is one conversation on Mumble, and then that's it. Because that's what happened to him. It was just like one evening of them discussing stuff. So he's been cut. Yeah,
So was there like a good tweet maybe it was from Mike or a comment somewhere, but you know I had been suggesting that the idea of taking, I think Kaidus said it as well in previous show, that this idea of taking Numlock back with 3 weeks to go was really dumb and short-sighted. But then after the ESE LAN mix-up, you know, bringing back players at short notice and producing the goods with like only a limited number of weeks, he was drawing an ironic parallel there between how much success they had, even though they ended up not winning. But and that maybe he's trying to say, or he was implying obviously that it's a good idea that Numlock's coming back. What do you think? Or do you want to throw in your hat there? Are you going to state your claim? Are you better than Numlocked? Are you the right choice for A52?
Well, one of us is statistically the best of A49 last season, and it wasn't Numlocked, it was me. But yeah, it's not my choice, it's their choice. And if they want to go for Numlock, fine, because I've got other options and I'm just going to cast, and I like casting pretty much just as much as I like playing TF2, so either way. I mean, I wouldn't mind I would like it if they picked me, obviously, because I just play, but it's not my choice. Find out.
Okay, I'm just trying to start the drama here. Obviously, there were other games that
There
were
is no drama, apart from if they don't win with Numlocked, I would just go, bit me.
Keep this moving though. Let's talk about the other games in the season before we get all hung up on I-52, because we're going to be having another show on Sunday evening. Oh yes, the cat's out of the bag. We're getting some I-52 hype going on Sunday. But right now, games were happening. There was another one on that Thursday night. I'm trying to remember. GG Well Played versus 425. Anyone catch that? That was the big Russian grudge match, but it sort of was a damp squib, I guess. 425 didn't seem to put up much of a fight. Anybody see anything about that?
Other than the scoreline where it was just a bit of a row. No.
Which game?
425 versus GG Well Played.
Oh no, that was while we were playing as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't personally have the stream on whilst I was playing TF2. She might have been what's up so bad, so I could have used that as an excuse. Yeah, Viaduct wasn't that much of a roll, but Atomic did have 100 points.
100 is
points?
a good amount to to have as a scout on a map.
And on Viaduct especially, my goodness, that must have been pretty close actually, because, I mean, even if it's 3-2, it would have gone for like the entire, but I can't find any logs for it.
There's Source TV.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go for this all now, am I?
Well, you watch for Source TV, then by the time the show's finished, you can give us your commentary.
I can give a roundup of what happened.
I don't know, but yeah, in the end, it was kind of the end of 425's playoff dreams, really, that match. Didn't get a single point out of it. GG Well Played got all the points, and that secured GG Well Played third place.
Yeah, they jumped into the lead there in that big playoff race, and I was really hoping that 425 could do something, but GG well played just with the superstars at the end of the season, picking up Heist and Yangpai and cruising into the playoffs. There was, of course, that Rocket played on the same evening, right? Who did we play? Was that the day before? I forget. No. We played 425 as well. I'm not sure if we covered that game previously.
I think we did.
Yeah. But that sank their battleship as well. But then we had 2 games today. I mentioned one of them. That was well played versus Insomniac. 6 points to Insomniac, securing them first place. But the battle for 7th and 8th wasn't even contested because Saints and Lazy Pandas had already secured both those places, and the result didn't matter whatsoever. But Saints did actually get some points this season. All he wanted to do was get points on the board, and they managed to take Snakewater to a golden cap at 1 point, and then they managed to win it to get a 2nd point. So those guys were going absolutely bananas. But I think we can all agree that Saints now publicly are the real winners here in season 18.
Congratulations for still finishing last, as predicted.
Yeah, but not as last. Like, they still got points.
Yeah, but
I don't think anyone predicted them getting points.
there isn't like a difference. You don't have we didn't finish as last as we're expecting. You're still last.
What was that Finnish team that would always play bottom of Prem and get 0 points? I can't remember their name.
Illegal. With
Illegal.
Czar and other gamers.
Zit and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I think Onkaya had been doing his homework because in an interview he was saying that it had been 10 seasons, or season 10, sorry, since someone had last finished. I think it was Equilibrium, the Portuguese team, finished the season without any points, so he didn't want to join them in the Hall of Shame. And he was like ecstatic. And these guys are going to LAN as well. Like, see on the league, they've changed their name back to Public Clear, the Swedish Org, and they're going there to represent them, so they'll be at A52. And that's, told him, man, I was on the fence, but now I have Saints to go and I'll be there.
This is when
done.
They're actually going to shine, and they're going to take European TF2 by storm. Absolutely wreck everyone.
I think all that's going to happen is one of the American teams is going to play Saints, and they'll ask Saints who they are, and they go, "Oh, we're a Prem European team." Then the Americans will just laugh at us for a bit.
We'll get Saints on for the show match. Protech versus Saints this Sunday.
Protech versus Saints.
And then Saints actually beat the American team.
What was I going to say? That's obviously something we should talk about, ESA Atlantic's era, but yeah, I think that's the end of the season. Then playoffs coming up. Mention it's going to be Phoenix versus GG Well Played. So you want to talk about predictions now for playoffs, or do you want to talk about what's been happening in North America? Anyone?
Let's do playoffs. Let's complete playoffs. Complete Europe before going international.
Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb here and say that GG Well Played are going to beat Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's really not that much of a limb you're going out on.
I've got quite a controversial opinion, guys, but the people that are probably going to win, I expect they will.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the favourites are probably going to win.
Yeah, I think, they will. I don't think, I don't know, it depends, because Phoenix, I think, if you put like the two teams like together, you sort of compare their lineups, I think Phoenix sort of like have the better team, just because GF18 is really, really good. You have Waters, who is also a good gamer, depending on which Waters wants to show up that day. Rib is also very good, but I think it's just their soldiers which are a bit sort of a liability. Maybe Skeege is a bit as well, because he seems to sort of like drop every time a bit of spam is thrown his way. Unless Phoenix sort of really, really impress and sort of try a lot leading up to the playoffs and practice hard, I definitely think GG Well Played would take it.
Phoenix can play this really frustrating style though. Like, they're more than happy to sit back on any advantage and wait for a team to push in.
One heavy.
But now that Played have Heist as well, I feel like he's sometimes of the same mindset, or prefers to be in the defender rather than the guy
I've not
making
necessarily seen that from Hiss when we've been playing against them. I think it sort of just gives the soldiers of GG Well Played a little bit more ability to sort of like roam a little bit more, because GDK was never really sort of stable in what he did anyway. So like he could just sort of disappear and just do his own thing, like on the flank, or just not be with White Glow at all. Whereas Hiss is sort of more favoured to staying with White Glow. So I think it's sort of a little bit more. I don't know. I think Hiss sort of like, I think Hiss is more trying to adapt to them instead of the other way around, because they've got a very, very sort of, I think most mids they just send both soldiers forward to bomb the medic, and that's pretty much it. But I think from today, Hiss didn't really play too well anyway, actually.
On Viaduct today, like, I don't know, I've never seen this team play with Hiss, I don't think. I think maybe played them once, but not on Viaduct. But like, I just kind of sat out on the mids like I was playing a Hiss team, and they basically did exactly what a Hiss team does on the mids. Like, so I think they are kind of like adapting to Hiss as much as he's adapting to them.
Jump soldiers and then Hiss just baits his team.
Yeah, like in TLR, like Hiss would always chill, like either on the slope or on the cliff, really passive, and then like both soldiers would jump, like the pocket wimp, and they would jump, and Hiss would just try and walk forward. Pretty much exactly what GG Well Play did tonight. I mean, I have no idea if that was what they were doing before. I honestly can't remember. But
I think it was, but I don't know. GD Well
classic Hiss to me.
GDK I think is better on mids, whereas I don't think Hiss is very, very confident on mids, because I think where
You talking about Viaduct in particular, or any mid?
I think any mid, because when he was playing in Epsilon, because we did our lovely Rockets TV reviews where, remember those times we'd all be there, Cookie wouldn't bother because he's never done one before, and he said that we were stupid for doing it. And so I think it was just like Hiss would just sit and choke, like be really, really weak, wait for heals and then go over, whereas I think GDK is the sort of player on mids where he just goes balls deep and just goes in regardless. I think that sort of was to GG Well Played's benefits. I felt they were stronger fights. I think over the rest of the game, Hiss will be a better option because he won't be as unpredictable for his team, but he's just got a very passive style on mids, and I don't like it because it doesn't really contribute. And I think today, I remember Snakewater, where both the Sollies jumped, but Hiss was still sitting by their saw room on Snakewater mid, and I think kaidus just pretty much walked over with no one shooting at him. That was it. The fight was completely split, and then Well Played just lost. Mirelin, what are you holding up? Your camera's literally a potato. I can't see it.
Oh really? Shit! Can you see it now?
It's just literally. It is. It just looks like. Oh wait. If you hold it still,
it looks like it's mirrored. It's like the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Your camera's flipped.
The camera's.
No!
You wrote the wrong way around.
Are you writing in Russian, man? What is that? Is that acrylic?
It's Jason. I cannot breathe with this air.
Have you got that printed out?
Your catchphrase.
Actually, just fucking print it.
Imagine him printing it out at the school library. He's printing out some work.
The one-hit wonder.
I am sorry.
So everyone thinks that Fenix aren't going to be able to produce the goods, but you think they still have, on paper, a solid enough roster, but they probably can't.
I think the only way they can beat GG Well Played is that every single player plays absolutely amazing, and that is pretty much the only way. So all six
Especially
of
when
them,
Clara is on the roster.
yes, they have to. I kind of feel sorry for Gene because it's been this season and last season that he's literally carried them sometimes on his shoulders, and it's just happened again. I haven't said that though. This season, the roster looked a little bit promising, but they're still stuck with Lari, which I don't know. I don't really like, because in Superstars, I'm pretty sure it's all we did. Get on Kalari and we have to do it again, but he's just not good. And until they get rid of him, he's going to continue not being good.
Whenever I ask Geej about it, or not ask him a lot, but he always kind of says, well, Kalari brings a lot of other stuff to the team, you know,
Like,
in terms of like I
in
guess like
potato
positioning and
salad.
stuff. But it's only
He's
he's always
friends
got a
with
good
GF as
selection
well.
of condiments. But you know, there's only like you have other players who can bring what Kalari can bring to the team in terms, of, you know, covering the flank at the right times. No, to actually hit shots.
Yeah.
Only so far you can carry someone before you need to ditch them.
I mean, they did it with Clar, and yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it would be better with Clar and Roma because even though he might not, I don't know. It just depends on how if he
I
can
think he
change
was
how
literally
nice he is
killing
and
the team
Mumble.
though,
Yeah,
because it was like Skeege versus Clar and Mumble, like you say.
yeah. I mean, if it wasn't the case, then I think they would be quite a bit stronger. Yeah, I guess it's just that Clar actually had aim and he could
If
hit
the
shots.
rosters were locked, you know, they could pick up QNX or somebody.
Why didn't you fold sooner, you bastard? Could have saved them.
Oh, like, let me throw out a hypothetical then. Who would win if it was GG Well Played versus Rocket, you know? Give you a chance.
GG, well played. I think Samsey will try his hardest to throw the game. And he'll do everything that he can in his power to purposely make sure that you guys don't win. Just call whenever you're running crits or sniper or anything like that.
I love the fact that you two fucking clowns made this team in the first place and you left to join Epsilon and then Sam fucking
I
hated
wouldn't
playing
fucking
so
left
much
to join
that he
Epsilon,
refused to
but
play
Samsey
playoffs.
was like, yeah, just leave. No one's going to care anyway. So it's like, alright, fuck you then. And it's just like, no one's going to give a shit, so I just left.
Sam
didn't
pinned
say
you
that.
out to Epsilon, actually. That's what's happened. It wasn't you, man. It was Sam. He's just fucking... I think he regretted this decision from day one. He was like, oh my god, how can I kill this team ASAP?
Yeah.
Let's give away our star demo,
I haven't
man.
said that. It was pretty fucking fun, like, to play it though. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a shame because I think there's quite roster decisions that I don't necessarily agree with. I still think we should have picked up quick, but never mind. Cares. Over now. Sailed.
Season 19, we'll see you
Yeah.
there. Then, jumping ahead, assuming that GG Well Played win, do they have actually what it takes to beat Epsilon, or is that, like, is this whole part of the playoffs irrelevant? Is it going to be Epsilon or Somniac in the final?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think something pretty nuts has to happen. It would be like the biggest upset I think I've seen in tier for it to be anything else.
Especially when Epsilon get map picks as well for whoever they
Unless
play.
you've got like a secret agenda to ruin Epsilon's playoff spot, I'm going to throw the game because they didn't take me at the very start. Just be like, haha, you guys should have picked me at the start. I wouldn't have thrown the game. But unless I do something like that, it'll be easy, I think. GG Well Played have a very, very specific style, and I think it works okay when you don't expect it and you don't really concentrate. But once you sort of got the team sussed out, they don't really have a fall-off plan. Yeah, I reckon it'll be relatively easy. It'll just be us versus or something.
Alright, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Us talk about everything that's been happening in North America. There was some show matches the weekend before ESE LAN. We saw Froyo getting dismantled by a Somniac 2-1 despite playing 2 maps on the NA server. What's that about North America? And we saw Epsilon looking really shaky against Classic Mix-Up, who were like literally a mix. Well, for the first map they had Missing Platinum and Harvey wasn't there, then he came in for the second map. Did we talk about this last time? I don't think we did.
No.
Your thoughts, guys, that played in the games. Tell me, what's the North American threat like?
Well,
Is A52 going to be close?
both player teams are playing on ridiculous pings and really take anything from it. So yeah, I think I don't know, I was just fucking terrible anyway. I think the only reason why we did well was because Mike just fucking destroyed them on Badlands. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody else on our team just sort of didn't do anything, and it was just Mike for about 20 minutes just wrecking everyone. And then yeah, that's it really. And then we lost because it was lagging. I was absolutely. The demo note happened as well. That might also be why.
Oh,
Throw
yeah,
that
that's
excuse
right.
in. And I had
Seems
a fever.
like distant memory now. The demo nerd.
Seems
We
like
haven't
a
talked
bad
about that, have
dream.
we? the last show was the one where we cried about it, and then they changed it. So thanks, Valve.
Yeah.
You mean
Obviously,
thanks fully charged?
They obviously heard my emotional plea and swapped it back. They're like, wow, all these top demo men saying that they should change it back. We should have listened to these guys first. Let's get rid of it.
I think it was the Highlander being broken. That's the real reason they did it. Let me ask you then, Kaidus, you remaining silent there, but you guys obviously won your series against WARHURYEAH Tech, but you got absolutely annihilated on Granary. Like, what was that all about? Was it just like a strategical misstep where you're trying to do the wrong things on mid? It was like the Clockwork Show. Or was it the
I can't
pings?
really remember. We just kind of like jacked it in halfway through. Like, I'm trying to think back. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first few rounds weren't too bad. Like, we failed the last push, I think. So like, the first few rounds we lost, and they weren't too bad. And then when it went 3-0, we were just like, this is gay. Like, I don't know. Did we pick Granary? I can't remember. We picked Granary against XTS, and like,
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
here's why. We had a Granary match against Epsi next week. We were like, okay, we don't know what map to pick. Let's just pick one that helps us next week. So we decided to basically PCW Granary. And Granary is just probably the worst fucking map in the game to play, other than Viaduct, with high ping. So, like, Zebo likes it, so we just picked it. And then halfway through, we were just doing shit. And it was like, what can we change? Nothing. We're losing because we can't hit shots because we have 150 ping. Like, the server fucked up at this point as well. So what was a New York server felt like a Dallas server. We all had like 160 ping because it just completely gone to shit. We delayed by like 10 minutes to try and wait for it to go away, but it didn't. So at like 3-0, we were just like, you know, fuck this. Like, let's just like play out and basically got our heads towards map.
Yeah.
Like, we got completely raped basically, but it was like, if you're looking at what you can fix, it was like, give us lower ping and we can change it. Like, I don't know.
Obviously, a show match is just a show match, but one guy who was entertaining everyone, both in the first weekend of show match and the second, was Mirelin. So, Mirelin, how hyped were you to play against the North Americans? Did you give a fuck?
What? I always give a fuck, man. I try hard, so hard.
Were you trying to embarrass them? Were you trying to show them up with your mad skills? Or were you just playing for the win, super serious?
Well, let me put it this way, yeah? As you well know, kaidus was like, hey guys, come on, scouts, why you're not helping me? I was like, supporting him. Yeah, and I was trying hard, come on.
Do you see the North Americans as a threat? Or are you more worried about Epsilon come I-52?
About Americans, I think they will show something decent. For example, as Australians, because like when Australians started to play in the boot or whatever you call it, I don't know.
Boot camp.
Yeah, boot camp. They were not like that good, but at LAN they changed good. So probably I expect something the same from Americans, and yeah, but of course I think alone if they manage to get together to play together, they will be like really strong. Sure.
Is it too early to theory craft about who is going to be the favorite for I-52? Like, obviously, show matches, what can you really tell from that? But then we've seen the top 4 American teams playing these various Twitch invitationals recently, and then the ESEA LAN. What were your feelings? Anyone who watched ESEA LAN, what did you witness? What's the message for Europe?
They're actually pretty aggressive. I think I don't know. I think it's sort of maybe based on individuals, because personally I wasn't really taken aback by some of like how well like the teams are playing together. Like Asigo was like really good for mix up. I mean, sometimes where he just like creates all the plays and work for 4G, but I think WARHURYEAH Tech have had the scout swap and the demo swap. Benny's playing scout again and Dub playing demo now. Yeah, I don't. You can't really tell because like these show matches, it's so laggy that it can't really do anything. So it's really difficult. So you can't really tell until it actually happens. I mean, I don't know what everybody's thoughts were going into last LAN when then HRG came over. I don't know if anybody sort of like had a definite gauge that Europe would win. Well, apart from Epsilon were really dominating then, I guess, but they didn't really do that well. So I don't know if anybody actually expected that or really expected them to be better. Whereas I think, what was it, I-46, where I'm pretty sure nobody expected the Americans to do that well and sort of completely crush Europe. So yeah, I can't really tell until it actually happens, I think. But
my fucking jaw like dropped when you said they were really aggressive. Like, they were not really aggressive. Like, the word momentum was not in the American dictionary. This ESCA land, like, I don't know how many fucking times Seagull had to like drag them out of shit, give them like a ridiculous advantage. Like, they were just too afraid to do anything with it. Like, it was like polar opposite. Like, all this shit Americans give EU for being passive 3 years ago, it was like, I don't know, felt like it was just a complete 180. Like, I was watching them like cap process 2, and like they had like like uber advantage. Like, they had like 2 men up, like 2 fresh kills. Didn't want to go last on that, rather just like stalemate it up. Like, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I was seeing most of the time. Like, I don't know if the game is just like, I've played these games where you don't like, everyone's confidence just kind of goes. I don't know. Like, I've seen these high pressure games before where like no one can play momentum and no one can actually establish momentum, but it was like they weren't even trying. Like, they just, I don't know. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Basically, they just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know what like really was going through their heads, because these teams have the quality to, you know, push on these margins, and I-46 mix-up was so good, like pushing on these 1-2 man advantages like really fast, like timing the spawns and all this kind of shit. But there was none of that. Like, I'm not saying they're bad, but I don't know. I was just kind of flabbergasted when you said they were really aggressive, because I didn't think so.
It didn't seem like TLR and Harb, like normally they're quite happy for TLR to just take the solo Uber in and just mess things up a bit and then just play on whatever he's done. But I don't know, TLR doesn't look like himself really. Like, he still hit like the fancy air shots and stuff, but in terms of like taking the big solo Ubers in, he looked like a shadow of his former self.
Yeah,
and
I
like
agree.
Harb as well didn't like. For a while, I thought Harb was the best meld, like a margin, like. But and this LAN, he just looked. Again, he just didn't look like, I know he was up for it, or he didn't play the same. He just played a lot more of a standard role.
Do you think that if they do come over, that they're well with their performances, do you think they will suffer? Like,
I don't know, Mix-Up are like probably going to be the worst losers in the world after, or any time, but after losing this to a Banny team, they're going to be really pissed, and I think it's just going to make them try even harder. Because right now they're not even the best team in America, according to this land, so they've got to go over to Europe and prove they're the best team in the world. I think they're just going to try really hard to fix whatever went wrong.
Who do you think would you
should say
Tech or Mix-Up? Like, I think, I don't know, Mix-Up to me, they've sort of always been, apart from the I-46 team, they were like absolutely amazing. But I don't know, I think I'm not a fan of Platinum on demo. Seagull was probably like one of their really performers. There's just sometimes when, I don't know, he just seems to wiggle in between the teams and just sort of come behind them most of the time. But
I love the Enigma and Seagull chemistry.
Yeah,
like watching them in the various show matches, and just the last few weeks I've really enjoyed watching Enigma play. I thought Squid was a bit anonymous at LAN. He didn't stand out for me just watching the stream, like, but maybe I didn't see all the games, to be honest. I didn't see the late one.
I don't think he stood out, but I don't think he didn't hinder his team either, really. He just filled a role, put out damage, cleaned up things. He just didn't have quite, that kind of Enigma kind of, I don't know what you can call it, but just those big moments, where Enigma dodge every shot and drop 3 people. He didn't have those moments, but he still put out consistent numbers, consistent work.
Like, I think Tech are probably maybe the better team, because Banny's pretty, I mean, he's a good scout, and he's got quite a decent brain on them as well, so I think it sort of makes the scout partnership a little bit stronger, especially with Clockwork. And Dummy wasn't a very, very good scout at all. Probably why I wasn't impressed with his performances. Yeah, I think maybe Tech will probably be the better American team and probably do better, but do you think they will be able to sort of still compete with Omniacs and Epsilon, or will it be sort of like last year where they were just both
just to clarify the situation right now? because this wasn't around whenever we did the last show, but they changed the way that the qualification for the two NA teams coming to LAN was going to work. So teams all agreed that whoever won LAN would get automatically through, and then there's still going to be another tournament, an online tournament, and that's happening on Saturday and Sunday, round robin, and then a best of 5 final on Sunday as well.
Shit.
But WARHURYEAH are through. Mix-up still have to win that. Are we assuming that they're going to get through, or can XTS recover from the LAN that they didn't think was going to happen, considering they were second in the main season and finished 4th at LAN?
Apparently,
I hope XTS don't, because they choke so fucking hard.
Apparently they do pretty well in PCWs, but yeah, they do choke. But you know, PCWs are just PCWs. Maybe they just can't handle the pressure. But yeah, I think mix-up. I mean, they're good enough to sort of win the invitational thing. So yeah, I think they will take it. Whether it's, I know it's gonna suck, to be honest, if we raise all that money and then just flop at LAN, but it could very well go that way. But it just depends. I think mix-up are strong enough to sort of finish first in the invitational, but maybe not good enough to have a good standing in. But who knows?
I think mix-up will do better in I-52. Like, going back to what I was whining about before, like, they're quite, like, slow play, like, and I think it's not like them, like, not being able to be aggressive, but it's, like, obviously partly the rule sets and things like this. I think they will kind of adapt to, like, having to play, like, to the clock, rather than having, like, the full hour, like, to doss about and do whatever you want. I think when, like, time goes against them and they have to be aggressive, like, I think they will do it better than, like, I think. So I think, like, once you get this out of their head, that they have all this time to mess about and do these weird sacks and things like this, and they're just kind of pressured by the clock to play a fast game, I think they will benefit from it, honestly. I think there will be like, I was really surprised I didn't win anyway. But I think I-52, I think the EU rules will help them more than it will help WARHURYEAH, if I'm going to take a guess. Like, I would expect, if assuming they win, I'm pretty sure they will, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they did, like, a lot better than WARHURYEAH.
About them Australians.
Oh yeah, Australians are confirmed as well. Well, Yuki messaged me. I'd been giving him flack that I hadn't heard anything if they were going to go or not, but he was copy pasting me some email he got. He booked his flights or whatever. So it seems like the Australians are definitely coming. Anyone else know anything about that?
I heard the same from someone else from that team said they'd all booked. I heard that, I didn't hear from Sheepy because I've honestly never spoken to him, but someone heard from Sheepy that they'd all booked.
He's got a donation on his Twitch page, which streams for funds to go to LAN. So I think maybe they've already got it and they're just raising money to sort of help with the costs.
Yeah, like, I think they bought that and they're, like, kind of raising supplemental costs and things like that.
My Australian correspondent tells me that they're pretty much set. Looks like they are
Go
going.
back to ACA LAN real quick. I know we didn't mention Street Hoops much, but, like, they played excellent. They really surprised a lot of people. Like, Grape was sick, Kozen was excellent as well, and Dewatna. They were all good, but coming back to the idea of classic mix-up, is it, like, I think we could upset this weekend. Like, it's not a done deal. Classic mix-up.
Wait, this weekend? As in?
Yeah. This is
2 days' time?
It is in a couple of days, yeah.
Yeah, that's when it's
When is it?
Because the Indiegogo thing finishes in, like, 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah,
And
but, like,
so they're
when
having the tournament. First round is on Saturday. I think it starts 11 UK.
They play on a
12
Saturday.
CST.
Oh shit! I thought it was like 2 weeks still or something like this.
No, I think it's going to be this weekend because Enigma was saying something about it. Maybe I've jumped the gun there and got it totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure, this Saturday and Sunday it's going to be happening. Something will be coming up about that, but just give me your final thoughts on, is it definitely going to be mix-up making it through there, or could we have an upset?
I really hope it's mix, just because I think for I-52, mix-up will step it up more. Well, they have more potential to step up to a higher level than any of the other teams competing for the spot.
Like, XDS got dog shit on LAN, and 20B got, like, really good for LAN. But I think playing online, when everything is kind of equal, like I know XTS had second seed, but it was really like gifted to them by Mix-Up using a half-assed roster for the regular online season. I think like all things equal, like online setting. I know LAN is supposed to be all things equal, but I mean all things normal, like people in their comfort zone online with their home PCs. I'm pretty sure Mix-Up are just gonna like roll over them.
Okay, I can get behind that. It seems inevitable, but I'd love to see some upsets. What else is on our agenda tonight?
Before we move on, I want to shout out
CommanderX.
Blaze. I want to shout out Blaze at ESC LAN. He was fucking incredible. Like, considering Mix-Up was trying to play like kind of, you know, Kaidus said it while we were watching it, you know, just kind of trying to shut down Clockwork. Like, don't give him a lot of room to make these big plays to force these one-on-ones that he knows he can win. But Blaze just played out of his skin every map, hit everything, hit so many sweet rockets. I think he doesn't get enough attention for how good he plays, especially on LAN
as well.
He was incredible
insane.
Viaduct. Like, he hit all the perfect rockets whenever he needed it to. He made so much space for his team.
There was so many moments where he was in like
Better than
super
Seagull.
deep, and there'd be like 3 or 4 targets, and he'd somehow manage to pick out the one guy who had only 20 health and end up getting like 2 or 3 kills where he should have been like dead instantly. He just seemed to have some ESP going on there, but he was incredible to watch. I noticed as well he didn't have any of his demos recorded, which is sad. There's a thread on TFTV looking for demos, but what else have we got on the agenda? I'm wary of time. You know, it's been an hour. No, maybe 50 minutes.
We hit the donation mark.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we wanted to push because obviously we're at £12,464, I think, right now, or dollars even. Yeah. But obviously they extended fundraiser like for an extra $1,000 to help get Lang there for all the production stuff. So obviously we're already 464 into that. We just need for remaining 636, right? Yeah. And obviously I know I'm going as a caster. I think War most likely is, well, definitely is really, but would definitely like to have Lang on board. You know it's true.
Yeah.
But we definitely like to have Lang on board. Or everyone who's met Lang or knows anything about Lang would happily.
You can do all the production work, and who have to deal with the more awkwardness for me trying to organise something. There's so many. Look how terrible this format of the show is, and it's because I'm the one that has to fucking want schedules.
I understand Lang was like a real production workhorse at A49. I wasn't there, dodged it. But yeah, absolutely would love to see him there. And it looks like we're going to reach that target as well. But there'll be a big drive for it then over the next few days, Saturday and Sunday, the tournament to decide who's the last team that gets sent there, but also to bleed you fuckers dry to send Lang to LAN. It's going to be sick. Ips wants me to promote Logjam as well, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have played it. A new map. It's been, and I suppose this is a good segue into Nations Cup territory, but 6v6 Nations Cup announced. Logjam in the pool, replacing Snakewater, right? After kaidus bitched and moaned about Snakewater after the Epsilon game.
It's so bad. Like, come on, it's so fucking bad. Enough is enough. Like, holy shit. Carry on.
Yeah. So discuss Logjam thoughts, feelings.
I like
Logjam. It's so good. Come on.
I like Logjam. Like, it's got potential. The only thing I'm a bit unsure about is it's just a very, very narrow choke that's there, but the changes that have been made already to it are really promising, and it's sort of opened up different paths, because I think like first versions, like you just had this absolutely tight, windy choke point, and then there was only like one exit to a right down this really long cave, and it sort of constricted it a bit. It was literally just a death trap, and it still is, but it's sort of, I think, you know, qualifies air shots to spire on it, so that also creates air shots. So any map that has a spire on it, it gets a thumb from me. Last play as well, it's pretty open. The last capture point cap's kind of slow as well, so it's not sort of like back point kind of deal, because it's not necessarily going to work. You have to sort of kill players first. But yeah, I enjoy it. Double mixes are showing favoritism to it, and people are enjoying playing it, so it's better some other custom maps that we try. If anybody's played some of the double mixes, we do play some really weird maps, and like proper early stages of alpha, where you can sort of get up to the skybox sort of thing and just ruin everybody's fun. But this has probably been one of the better ones.
It's in the Nations Cup, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's deserving of being there, so I'm pretty glad that it's there. Because
Is this just like favoritism though? It's like these double mix nerds are saying this is a good map, we should play it. Why? Is it just that this map maker dude, Heisey, is
he's
you've got
keen.
this feedback loop going on?
He sort of joins in on the double mixes and sort of sits there and looks at how it gets played. I think he made Intermodel as well, which is a decent map, but there's a few flaws in it, which I think he sort of put all of his effort into Logjam now. And the only sort of maybe weak part of that map is probably mids altogether, because it's very, very open. And it's sort of like, like pretty much on every map like Badlands, where it's just sort of both teams, if nobody jumps, it's just, two teams just sort of looking at each other, trading spam. But I think that's the only problem with this map at the moment, is that mid's very, very long. And if you rocket jump, sort of don't make it to the other side in one jump, you sort of like have to maybe jump off a wall. So it's a bit slow mids, but that maybe is an alpha, but it's got a lot of promise, I feel.
Yeah, it's obviously far from final. It's still in alpha stages, but I would encourage everyone. And Ips is really driving me. He's telling me to promote this on cast and stuff. And again here for this chat show, but head over to etftl.org, teamfortress.tv, check out the threads, download the map. And if you're playing the Nations Cup, really try and give feedback, because it seems like the map maker is really keen to make this successful competitively, and I suppose that's something we want to encourage from all map makers, right? Get us involved.
Yeah, I think the last person to do it was made Snakewater, then Valve.
Choji.
Yeah, sort of changes, which is a bit annoying to play. Yeah, he sort of stopped supporting that map. I think there was actually a reboot at some point, but he gave up on that as well. But I think the last person that did it was probably Arnold, I think. Maybe Stark was Turbine
great
Pro.
Competitive map.
Maybe it's all about Brazilian. Come on. Everybody loves that map. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm pleased with Logjam. I'm glad it's in, because it makes a change. I think Snake is a bit of shit.
So bad.
What would you change, Kaidus, if you could make one change between mid and
I would
2 and
go
3?
into Hammer, I would press Control A, and then I would press Delete and Enter, and then just start again. There is not a single redeeming feature of this map for me, other than it has been like fucked with so many times to make it at least tolerable to play in a game in which rounds can be scored. There is not like a single bit of it that I consider like good. I would not say this point is fun. Like mid is just like strategic black hole. It is just two teams diving into each other, or two teams standing back and waiting for the other team to dive into them. Second is just like really, really boring. Like there is no like fluid choke to move through. The only like slightly open choke, you come down on like massive low ground. And last is just like, I don't know. Last is just
You
like
nailed it.
terrible. Terrible.
Let me ask you guys about Sunshine. And Vasky messaged me here saying it's played in UGC, ASEA, and CEVO, and the invite players seem to love it. What's up, EU? Why don't we play Sunshine?
I'm pretty sure quite a few Americans only like it because it looks pretty. But I've not really played it, so I can't make any.
Me neither.
I've never really played it, honest.
I know
That's the
Yeah,
reason I
like,
haven't played it.
Yeah, when I've watched teams play, like the American teams play on it, it seems to play alright, but I don't know, it's hard to tell just from the few bots I have watched.
Some people that I speak to, there's like conflicting people. Just say it's like just a really pretty map. Others just say it's sort of like but I don't know, it's just very conflicting. It sort of has quite a big 50-50 split, but yeah, as I've not really played it, I can't really dwell into it. But I'm not really too fussed with it on Sunshine. Not really that much wrong with the map, or apart from Snakewater and Granary for me.
Can't get rid of Granary, man. It's a classic. Gonna be there forever.
I used to hate Granary until I played Snakewater. And then I just like, when Granary and Snakewater week comes around, I'm just like orgasming when we get done with Snake and
Bring
play Granary.
Gravel Pit. I want it back. I missed that map.
I want Gravel. That'd be nice. Gravel Pit was fun to watch.
Yeah, Gravel Pit's probably one of my favourite maps, and I think it, against two equal teams, I think it can be very, very, very exciting to watch as well. Yeah.
It's the most entertaining to watch when it's close.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like some of the, I think it's because like on C, you get fast, the respawns are pretty quick for the defending side, so it's like a lot of clutch moments, and soldiers just sort of running up and jumping onto them as a team's capping it, and it's just
So
I
Nations
really-
Cup should just be gravel pit and log jam every week.
yeah, I really do like that. But yeah, I understand why people don't want it, but
Let me throw you guys out a question then. Obviously, we're trying to save the I-52 hype for the Sunday episode. Mention that again. We'll be back on Sunday. But Theorycraft a map pool for I-52.
it'll probably be whatever ETF2L has for their map pool. So we'll probably see
Maybe the
Snakewater
Nations
come
Would
back.
it be the Nations Cup map pool, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Would it be the season map pool because
Be
everyone's
a
playing
dick move to
Turbine?
put in Turbine there. Like the Yanks don't play it at all. That would be
Who is
pretty
it?
unfair.
Who is it that's adminning it this time? Forgot.
Nympha.
Nympho.
I'm pretty sure she ask most of the top teams that are going, what they would prefer, hopefully.
Maybe
Because-
each continent should pick maps.
Yeah, but then we'll just have like Sunshine and Coal Plant, something like that.
Sunshine and Coal Plant, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we pick
Or some
Turbine.
other
and-
absolutely, like maybe Warm Front, I don't know. It's just they'll just hit it back with some really weird maps that we've never played. Yeah, I think it would probably be either equal to the Nations Cup or last season's.
I'd really enjoy it if we brought Gravel Pit in LAN.
I
Because
really
all the
enjoy it
teams
as well.
mix up Freya IM. It is IM as the
Yeah,
Australian
yeah.
team. Yeah, we'll know what they're doing. All the European teams will. Everyone's played it before, and
Yeah.
it's incredible
I
to
would-
watch.
I would love it
when the
if
stakes
they
are high.
removed Granary and put Gravel Pit in. I think it's just because Granary, if it shows in on on the final. I think it was played. Was it played last final?
It was played in the All American final,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being Granary, but yeah, I just don't think Granary is a very good map to have sort of like on a final because it can be quite slow. I think when teams are sort of playing for a lot of money, encourage them to be quite slow. So I just prefer Gravel Pit because better.
I like Granary. Fuck you, buddy. How about that?
I've come around to Granary lately.
Are you saying you don't want Granary because you don't like Granary?
No, what?
No, War. Like, what's your hatred of Granary? It's slow, but it's like an excellent team play map.
I don't know. Maybe it's
There's
actually
nothing random about it.
There's nothing absolutely terrible. I think it's just because it's my worst map. So maybe that's the reason why.
It's alright, Will, you're not playing, don't
But-
worry, buddy.
As I'm not playing, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of it because it can be stalematey. I'm not a fan of you push into yards, maybe like trade yard, you get yard, and you got the same shit on second, like just sort of juggling it. And yeah, I think it's just because you can have heavies and last. The last for me is quite open, and it sort of plays a bit like Snakewater. But I think on Granary you sort of got more movement to sort of get around, whereas Snakewater you're quite conflicted between really absolutely tiny doors where you're just going to get launched miles up in the air by a Daleman, and then you have to fall out, wait for Ubers again, and try and go back in. But no, I'm just not a fan of last mainly. I think middles is very, very random because it isn't as random as Snakewater, but there is still sort of like quite a bit of just everybody balls deep, just jump in and then see who has the most players alive at the end of it. I don't know. It's just one of my worst maps, and it's just a map that I dislike the most.
Is that the Epsilon strategy for A52 then? Balls deep, everybody jumping and see who's left alive at the end. Fuck's
I'm not
sake,
playing. I'm not playing so far. Maybe.
We don't tell Will the real strategies.
Yeah, there's like there's no. Yeah, they were discussing the other day. People should go through maps. It's like, what's the point? Well, it's not going to be playing, so it's just a waste of a time, isn't it? Yeah, that's right, guys. Thanks.
Maybe you could go get them all a drink while they get numlocked on Mumble to go through the strategies.
It's like,
With
hey
a
guys,
water
do you
boy.
wanna, I'm doing a demo review. Does everybody want to join me? Have a look at Saw TV. It's like, why? What's the point? Oh, all right. Never mind.
Right, let me ask you real quick. Anybody got any thoughts about who's going to win the 6v6 Nations Cup? Is it too early to tell?
It's too early to tell.
Germany.
Team Latvia.
Can the UK just put together a team that has Mike and kaidus on the same team rather than this fucking England-Wales bullshit? Can we have Team GB?
I think the Welsh are too proud of Mike. They want him all for themselves.
Coleman's got him brainwashed. Fuck's sake, Coleman. Got to beat the Germans. We can't let the Germans win.
But I think the problem is like Team GB becomes Team England plus Mike. so the other nations are a bit like, huh. So
Who could we get from Scotland? Stealthy will be there, don't worry.
like sheep is like okay.
Poop.
Like if you're looking at the level of scouts England has, like if I was like captain of
Are you
PvP,
gonna
I would
captain?
consider him. I applied, but I was not gonna have any part of it. But then when I heard Logjam in, I got really interested, so I applied.
Can I play,
Maybe.
please?
You know, England has always
It's not
had
like we
this
have
situation where
soldiers
it's like
for-
I'll
Alright,
play
Arctic
pocket.
captains.
I'm a really good pocket. I think
Start
I've
your own
demonstrated
team,
that
man.
in double mixes.
Remember when it was like ARC's first bite? There was like 2 rival England teams
Oh yeah, and yeah, they had
or
that.
UK teams.
Had that. Yeah, they had a game, didn't they, to just determine who would do it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That was
well,
like the most typically British fucking thing. Like everyone else just gets together. Yeah, I'm happy to play with my home nation, and England are just arguing and squabbling and battling. Literally.
It happened last time because it was Spin that was in charge of England, and then Spin was doing
How
absolutely
did that
terrible.
happen to begin with?
Well, yeah, and Spin did an absolutely terrible job because most of the time it was everybody else. Oh god, there was. I don't remember who took part of it, but I know. I think Stark was there, Sideshow was there, but it was the game against Team Poland, and my goodness, it was about 4 hours of absolute dog shit, and it was we literally had to just get maybe about 4 randomers added to the Team England roster, but we tried to overthrow him and get bite, and then that didn't work out. So I think it was Stark that sort of took over for the rest.
All right, name me your last 4 teams, top 4 teams for the Nations Cup. Who's going to make it there? I'll throw out Germany, Sweden, England, France, the usual.
I agree with that. I think.
Lithuania could be fucking sick, actually. They had some good guys at LAN.
Will a mirror enter?
I don't know. They should. They're invited. Bring it, North America. Or, sorry, USA and Canada.
Ibs wants me to tell you that Germany won't win because there's too much drama.
Sweden,
Oh, there's loads
France,
of drama.
and then the rest
That's
of
right.
shit.
Do you want to
We
talk
should talk
about,
about that.
Team Germany drama?
Yeah, so what's the gist of it? Obviously, the Highlander Nations Cup is happening very soon, or earlier than the Sixes one, but something along the lines of Stefan got his girlfriend in the team, even though she's not very good, and people were mad, and there's loads of drama based around the Highlander, so they were worried it would happen to the Sixes as well, so there's been strong action taken there that the Sixes team will remain decent, but the Highlander team may be fucked. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, I think Ips was telling me Stefan basically submitted a team, like a German lineup. And long story short, everything was pretty normal. The soldiers were Klar and Gear, which is, neither here nor there. But then the backup soldier out of all the German soldiers was Stefan's girlfriend.
Well, maybe she's just real good.
I think she plays in
She's
Div
not.
4.
Has she? How do you know? We have to sort of get this raw talent up the ladder. We
Pretty sure
move
that
into
was
competitive
Stefan's
tier 2.
argument, from what I heard at least.
Oh dear.
I think most of it just came because Ips was doing. I think you can read all these posts if you go to the German forum on ETF12. Ips was basically saying this is a bad idea in much less nice language.
Who's this woman? Who is it?
Melee, I think, is that her name?
Mellow.
Melle.
I'm pretty sure it's not
Right.
pronounced mellow.
I said melee.
Melee?
It's also not pronounced
okay.
that, is it? I don't know.
This isn't the point. This isn't where the issue came up.
What is she playing?
The issue went with her name. But Ips basically said, wouldn't it make more sense, to have someone like, I know, anyone from C Play, Rising. Rising's a pretty good soldier, in that final spot, if anyone.
Why the fuck isn't
Um,
Rising starting?
That's
That's
another,
the biggest
that's another
joke.
story.
Like, how
ever.
could Rising even? How can he not be on the bench? But why would you even want him on the bench? He should be starting hands down.
Yeah, but yeah, and then Stefan just took it as Ips was mad. Ips wasn't in the team. When Ips was like, I don't even care about being in the team. I just want the team to be who the team should be.
Yeah, I think Ips never won.
Yeah.
Is this on the ETF12 Highlander?
What?
Well,
Nations Cup.
where have you been?
Look at it.
It's in the German forum.
Right.
Google Chrome auto translates for me.
So they haven't actually added. So they added her to the roster as well because I'm looking at both. She's not on.
Not on the
It's
roster,
changed
on like the team they submitted, or like
Oh, okay.
Stefan's proposed roster.
Look,
But yeah,
guys,
I agree with Kaidus. I echo he's Rising should start, Rising and Gear if he wants to play.
Yeah.
How does
Like
it
if
make
Ips
sense?
doesn't want to play, like Rising should be a shoo-in.
Maybe I should be like put myself as captain of Team England. I can get my fiance to play TF2, though she's not played any competitive at all.
Can I play? And my girlfriend can play as well. We can have like kaidus, get your girlfriend, and we'll have like a triple date Nations Cup.
Alright. Yeah, sick.
Medic. Oh, it's like gonna be Commander, isn't it?
Oh, what? I can't.
Well, then we have to put a girl on there because girls can only really play medic and competitive. So
My girlfriend's a soldier, so.
don't like. Come on, she's not going to be very good at it, is she? She needs to play medic.
Well, I did teach her, so she's probably not going to be very good. So, in conclusion, Germany drama.
Wait, yeah, disgraceful situation. What are you playing at?
Yeah, we were
Stefan?
just
Fight me
saying
at LAN.
typical
Fight me at LAN. I'm
British,
calling out your
you know.
girlfriend. She doesn't deserve to be in the team.
We were just saying typical British thing about the whole sort of Arcs' Team England versus Bytes Team England, and Germany just seemed to be in a pretty similar situation now. So maybe England can capitalise on Germany's.
I don't know who
anger.
England will have as medic. That's the only thing.
I've been told it's not me, despite showing no interest whatsoever. So thanks, Kaidus, for that message.
You would be like my backup plan if you didn't work like 6 nights a week.
So
I
if
can
I quit
play
my
medic.
job, I can play for Team England and win
If you
500
if you
euros.
quit your job, you can be like number 2 or number 3.
Oh boy, how much
Behind
prize
you-
money do I get for number 2 or number 3?
You'll be behind me though.
Spin spike. You know, you could be.
I've got
fourth.
some sick arrows.
Then it's like number 7 on the list.
I would not quit to be 4th choice England medic.
You can be 3rd choice.
Yes! Okay, it's a done deal. I'll call them now.
Excellent.
What is the Team England team going to be? Just out of personal curiosity.
Honestly, like I don't really know. Like, Team England still has some like people that don't like people. Like you can't take the best 6 players and make a team for Team England because it would involve both Byte and Shintaz, both of whom are very controversial people in terms of who they like and who likes them. I haven't spoken to either one of them, so I'm kind of like not really doing anything concrete until I'm actually confirmed that it's up to me.
I like
like-
everyone.
Like I would like to I've spoken to Permzilla. I would like to have Raymond play. He's confirmed to me Raymond will take a photo of some proof of identity. He can be declared as un-Scottish after 2 years of bullshit. Like, because you know they all joined Team Scotland like 3 years ago.
Well.
Yeah, right.
You're going to have
They
to
all-
get your backups. I'm going to have to prove myself I'm English as well.
Yeah, like they all did this like 3 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And finally now they're gonna like be like, okay, maybe it was partly our fault as well for not checking that you weren't all just fucking around. And 2 years is enough ban. So hopefully. But you know what Raymond's like? Nah, they should just let me play. I ain't doing shit for them. A mini Shintaz. So who fucking knows? Like Team England is like a bunch of drama. There's not even drama at this point. It's just kind of like everyone just accepts that it's stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah, like, it's just not even drama. It's just like a mess. And I'll try the best to make something out of it that will probably involve like Permzilla and Buttnose on Scout. It's gonna be a blast.
You're just going to make
Right.
AO go again. Is AO go going to be Team England?
Fucking God, I ain't playing with Sideshow.
I can play soldier. I want to be relevant.
No, I legit will like consider this because I think you're probably better on Soldier than having like Sideshow. Because it is going to be Sideshow otherwise.
Evan Sideshow. I'm so proud.
Sorry, guys, we need to bring the show to a close because
Team
Mirelin
England's
is
having a
messaging me that he's
meeting.
bored.
Do you mind, mate?
Yeah,
Mirelin
sorts
also
out now.
wants to know
Oh.
how do you pronounce your name, CommanderX?
Xavier.
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 Javi.
Xavier Harty.
For those of you who weren't there, basically when I invited everyone to the Skype conversation, Merlin just had a solid 2 minutes laughing when he saw what my name was. And here he goes again.
Oh, Xavier. There was a movie, I think, and there was
X-Men.
a main character, Xavier.
Yeah. X-Men.
Professor X, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I'm a stunt double.
Oh, guys, I'm really sorry for interrupting, but I am dying of boredom and my head is in pain, and I still want to watch stream bots from our games, and I want to eat. So I will say goodbye to everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to talk about, so you're not really
Yeah.
you're not really being the badass that you think you are, Mirelin. The show's over. You can't leave. The show's fucking over, mate. It's
Is
done.
it?
Thanks
Oh,
to our cameraman John, CommanderX,
Visit my
kaidus,
blog.
WARHURYEAH, Mirelin, me. Awesome. I see smoke
Xavier.
rising from Kaidus's
How
room
are
is
you
on
still
fire.
finding this funny?
Kaidus's room is on fire. I see smoke. But
Oh my god. Oh, Kaidus face. Now let me show Kaidus, guys. Look.
I could almost see a pixel then on his camera. And just about make out his head then.
I am not drunk, guys. I'm tired. Sorry. Been playing Team Fortress over the whole day.
finally, I'll announce that the Highlander Open signups are closed, but they did get 256 teams, so that's like roughly 2,500
Huge.
new players to TF2 potentially. So yeah, I think you can get involved with that as a buddy or mentor type thing. Check out etftl.org. There's a news post about it. I didn't get the full details before we went live, but yeah, support that cause. Excellent cause. And keep donating to i52.tf. Tune in this weekend for the tournament to decide who is the last team. Pretty sure it's this weekend. Something will come up about that too. But any final thoughts? Anything else we've missed out on? Jump in now. Shout outs. Anything you want. Anybody got a blog?
I have a blog at WARHURYEAH.com. It may be a little bit irrelevant now, but when I inevitably get kicked from Epsilon, I will actually start writing stuff again.
I do not have a blog.
Donate for Lang to i52, i52.tf.
Oh.
Yes, please. I really don't have to
Start.
do. I don't want to do any work at LAN. I just want to sort of sharpen a suit and just talk shit for most of the games.
Whoa, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Who was that beautiful woman on your background?
My background.
Yeah.
What in real life?
I think
or-
he means your fiance.
yeah, that was my fiance.
Who?
My fiance.
Oh, she was stroking her hand. So
She was. Likes to remind me that I actually have one when I sit in my room for about 6 hours on end.
Trying desperately not to get cut from an esports team.
Yeah, she's just reminding me that if you get cut, Chris, this relationship's over. I can't be with you anymore.
nice intonation.
Thank you.
British.
All right then. We're done here. John, you may pull the plug.